There's something about a bike ride that makes you just want to reflect. The rhythm of the pedals, the hum of the tires on the pavement, it gives you space to think. Today, I'm heading to Wondang Market, one of those places where old and new Korea blend together. But this ride is more than just about food. It's about identity, about figuring out who I am. I've spent years trying to answer a question that's been with me for as long as I can remember. Who am I? For some, this may seem like a simple question, but for me, and for so many others, it's complicated. I feel that perhaps for almost everybody, that at a certain point in their life, they start to question everything about who they are. They start questioning their culture, even their nationality, even their names. And even when it comes to me, for the longest time, people told me I was American. And if you're listening to me right now, I sound very American, don't I? Yet, I've never been American, or at least not legally. I was Korean. But the way I talk, the way I act, the way I dressed, everybody thinks that I'm very American. Sometimes even my kids would tell their friends, our dad is American. Yet, I was born in Korea, in a city called Daegu down south. And I've grown up in Korea most of my life. I lived a little bit abroad when I was younger, even went to college there. But for the most part, I've lived most of my life in Korea. Now, the reason why I share all of this is because I feel like I'm not the only one. I feel like nowadays there are so many people who struggle with this idea of cultural identity. They just don't know where they fit in. So here I am, finally arrived, Wondang Traditional Market. Markets like this have always fascinated me. The smell of fresh produce, the sizzle of meat on a grill, the chatter of vendors. It's Korea in its purest form. One of my favorite things about these markets, of course, are the different types of foods. Here's some unique looking seafood. Passing by some poultry here. And more fresh seafood. One of my favorites is the braised pork feet. And you can never go wrong with these deep-fried traditional Korean donuts. Indeed, one of my favorite things about these markets is the food. I think today calls for a bowl of beef broth noodles, something warm, familiar, yet uniquely Korean. Empty bowls mean it was a good meal. Back on the road again. It's funny, When I was a kid living in America, I hated that we always ate Korean food at home. I wanted hamburgers and mac and cheese, like I thought every other American kid was eating. I hated rice and kimchi. And yet, some of my fondest memories are of eating Korean short ribs, rice, and kimchi at a park in the US. I remember our car always smelled like kimchi, and at the time, I was embarrassed by it. But now, I find it comforting. And what's even more interesting is that today, so many Americans have come to love Korean food too. The thing about identity is that it's not always something we choose. Sometimes it's something that's placed on us by a passport, a birth certificate, a set of expectations. But the more I've searched, the more I've come to realize that identity is more than just nationality or name. It's something we build, something we define for ourselves. I used to think that identity was choosing one thing over another, American or Korean, local or outsider. But maybe it's not about choosing, maybe it's about accepting the journey, the in-between spaces, the questions that always don't have easy answers. And so I ride, I reflect, I search. And in the process, I hope to find not just where I belong, but who I am.